It's extremely rare when I say this. I think it's the first time ever I'm going to say this, that I agree with Owen Jones. Kind of, to an extent. He made a very, very angry video yesterday on Twitter. He went on a massive rant against Keir Starmer because Starmer, who's a massive liar, decided to stand for Labour leadership on a platform of domestic socialism. And then now, he's completely ripped apart his own pledges, all the pledges that he had, including nationalising everything that he could see and touch. So, of course, Owen Jones is going to go crazy on that. Although, he then followed it up and using another tweet that was advocating for more aggression. That was too far, Owen. That was definitely not really needed. But I'm going to show you the video, then we're going to react as we go.
Keir Starmer is a professional political conman. Don't use those words lightly.
Yeah, he did.
In order to become leader of the Labour Party, he made a series of solemn commitments, pledges, he called them, which were radical domestic policies and party unity. Now, he didn't just slightly break that mandate.
That is true. I mean, as we said, the problem is when Nick Clegg broke his promise, the tuition fees, if you guys remember, he came out and apologized. It was a very cringy apology. Nobody really believed it. I mean, he got more attacks for it, actually. But at least he tried to say, well, obviously we're in coalition, I changed my mind, and the new policy, I've been reassured it's actually not too bad. Starmer has not said anything. He hasn't even addressed the problem. So that's why he's losing more support from the left, but he's not really convincing the right either.
Mostly break the mandate. He has brazenly, overtly delivered the exact opposite of what he said he would be as Labour leader. Now, I know most of the media have let him get away with this because their view is lying your way into crushing the left and conning your way into crushing them. That's good politics. I know.
Okay, so that's kind of not fully true, but I get it because the mainstream media, the problem they have is that they don't really give you proper scrutiny. They're not really doing their job anymore. The press and media, both of them, both sides, whether from the right-wing side or the left-wing side, they are simply focusing on gossip politics mostly. So they're not really, for example, today when we had Rishi Sunak announcing authoritarian policies, no one's coming out to actually ask him those questions, the important questions of why are you turning Britain into China? So that's why he's continuing this rant.
His army of supporters online, the most tedious, ridiculous Waitrose customers that you will ever come across, they think it's all fine because they...
The thing is, I agree with that. I've met the supporters. I've met the Waitrose customers, the Ramoni liberal Labourites who mostly live in London or Surrey, all these places. They are quite tedious. They are also not really into hearing debates. They're not really into actually hearing the other side of arguments. To be fair, from their perspective, the Corbynistas and the Owen Jonesites, whatever it's called, they are a bit nuttery, but you still need to hear them out, right?
Believe in anything. They made their entire political identity Brexit and stopping Brexit for years, and now support someone who advocates the hardest form of Brexit possible. Stockholm Syndrome does not cover it for these people. But the fact is, that is the truth. He is a con man. He is not someone anyone can trust. He is somebody who lies as a matter of course in order to secure power. He's not fit to be leader of the Labour Party, and he's not fit to be Prime Minister of the country. And I don't care how much that annoys the most tedious people on the internet, because it's the truth.
I mean, it's because those tedious people, his voice and face annoys me as well. But he's spot on in terms of the obsession that the liberal Labourites have with Remain and rejoining the European Union. But people like Owen Jones, they're the same people who every time they lose an election, they say, well, because we weren't left-wing enough, let's become more communist. Not sure that's also the right solution, Owen. But the reason he's spot on was because I looked at the reaction on Twitter from his own side, the left-wing side, the centre-left, the liberal lefties. All these people who were attacking him were, in fact, the tedious Waitrose customers. Matthew Stalton, you know him, the guy who tried to apply to join GB News and he got rejected and he went mental. He said, what a tedious, predictable, angry, unpleasant fellow you often come across as Owen Jones. Matthew, have you seen yourself? Have you seen the way you behave on social media, on TV, on radio, and just generally speaking in life? Again, pot kettle reminds me of that situation. And we had actually someone saying something very interesting from the Labour side, Peter Story, saying, it's not a choice between Tory and Starmer. It's a choice between Tory and whoever we choose as the Labour leader to be our Labour Party to be our leader, and we can do better. Now, of course, I'm right wing. I shouldn't really agree with that argument, but that applies to both sides. That literally, I mean, the current system that we have, you end up with Tory or Labour anyway, unless we keep pushing for smaller parties or change the system to actually have more options. That's not happening now. So you're going to end up with Tory or Labour. So from the Conservative perspective, the choice is between the Labour leader and the various options that you have in your party. Now it's the same thing with the Labour Party. So instead of trying to create this chaotic debate and infighting that they keep doing every single minute, even when the Tory party is all over the place, they can probably just get together and see if they can pick someone who is good enough to beat the Tories. That's all you have to do. Do not pick a conman, as their own Jan says, but don't really pick Corbyn either, because that doesn't really apply to British society. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section, because I feel just a bit dirty saying that I kind of agree with Owen Jones, despite the fact that he still lost his temper as usual. Subscribe to the channel. I'm Tousi, and we are the media.